Hello everyone, Katarina here. Welcome. I'm continuing with my Christmas card series with a card number 8. Today's card is just as easy as my previous card because this is just simple coloring. It's a card with a candy cane background and a Christmas cookie. I really like this background. I made it last year, but in blue. This was inspired by another card where they used a stencil and a red ink, and I just did not want to copy, but I really like the red and had to make it myself as well. So let's make it. I started with a sketch. This means first I had to transfer it to my cardstock. The sketch will be available on my blog. Link is in the description. All you need to do is copy the image and paste it to a word processor. Adjust it to the size of your cardstock. Maybe lower the opacity so it's easier to trace. Print it, trim it down so it fits your cardstock, and now you can follow these steps. Scribble the lead of your pencil on the back of the sketch. The sketches can be reused multiple times. As you can see, I already used it before. Once you are done, place the image onto your final cardstock. I'm using a watercolor cardstock. I also secured it with a washi so it doesn't move. And now you can trace over the lines. With the lead of the pencil on the back, the image transfers onto the cardstock. Next, I colored every other section of the background using cadmium red. I'm using the Kuretake Gonzaitami paints. You can also use other coloring methods, that is completely up to you. This doesn't necessarily have to be done with watercolors. I painted 2 layers, but you can just do one. First, I did a flat wash. Here I was concentrating on painting straight along the edges of the pencil lines and making sure I have a full coverage. And then for the second layer, you will see me adding the paint at the bottom or bottom half of each section and then spreading it out with a cleaned up brush. But as I said, you can just do a 1 layer or a flat wash on both layers. The background is done. I really like it. I let it dry, and while it was drying, I worked on the focal point, which is the gingerbread cookie. By the way, this was my first idea before I decided on the background. I saw a few videos with paper painting gingerbread cookies or other Christmas cookies. I also remember someone using cookie cutters to stamp the shape, so I tried that. I picked a star cookie cutter. I applied burnt sienna on the edges, and it did not work. It worked on my trial run. I even tried dipping it in a paint that I put on a palette, but that did not work either. So plan B, or actually plan C, I just trace the star with a pencil and color it with the burnt sienna. And after the piece was dry, I used my scissors and fussy cut it. I like to leave a little white edge around the image, similar to if you would use a coordinating die. and I like the look. Lastly, I used the white gouache to decorate it. It's pretty much the same you would do when decorating real cookies. I used very little water with the gouache and created the pattern. The white border was accidental, meaning I didn't plan it, but without thinking, I started with it, and I do like it. And in the middle, I started with a dot, which was a little bit off center because I did not measure, and then I created a snowflake, finishing with a few dots. If you don't have gouache, you could use a white acrylic paint, white gel pen, or marker. I think Just a Cookie is such a fun idea, and if you like it too, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. The greeting I wanted to be smaller on a banner. I didn't like any of the stamps I have. They were just too big. So I created my own using black cardstock and white gel pen and wrote it myself. If you don't have black cardstock, you can paint a strip of watercolor cardstock black, or you could use a black Sharpie for that. Normally, I would cut the cardstock with the background smaller, either with a paper trimmer or like here using a stitch rectangular die. This is because I just like the look and I also find it easier to adhere. When I adhere the full panel, most of the times I have to trim it anyway, as there is a small excess. So if you don't have a paper trimmer, the best solution is you could buy yourself 5x7 card bases, like I have here, and eliminated the need for paper trimmer altogether. Any bigger size card base would work, but I think 5x7 is a really good size because it's not too big. Of course, you could halve the watercolor cardstock, but that's such a waste. It also can crack, and when you buy pre-made card bases, they come with envelopes, so that's really a bonus. I used liquid glue to adhere the watercolor background. It did warp a bit. It might be also because I was using a damp brush, and it looked a little bit flat, at least compared to the smaller size. It's not a big deal, but using a double-sided foam tape might be a better option. The cookie and the greeting I adhered using a foam tape, so it's a little bit raised. And that's it. I absolutely love this card. I hope you enjoyed it too and feel inspired. Like, comment, and share. And if you would like to see more background ideas for your Christmas cards, check out this video. I created 5 different backgrounds. The focal point is completely up to you. You could even use the Christmas cookie from this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.